Welcome back! It's me, Stinko! Before we begin, I just want to say thank you so much for the support on my previous video talking about my Deltarune OCs. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I put a lot of effort into it. It means a lot seeing so many people supporting my work, especially a project as large as my first big YouTube video. But this is my second big YouTube video, and you may remember me saying something near the end of that previous video, but if you don't, here's a quick wavy flashback of that. Wavy flashback. And I might make more videos like this. Maybe I can talk about some of my original OCs you might know about if you follow me on my other socials. So, yeah, that's what we're doing today. A majority of the art I post online tends to involve my original characters, OCs for short, in some shape or form, but not everyone is gonna know who these people are. So I thought I would make this video to introduce all the silly little guys I like to rotate in my brain. If you're watching this around the time it's supposed to be released, Art Fight should be coming soon, hopefully in a couple months. So hopefully this video can serve as a really good source of inspiration and motivation if you're planning on drawing them. Or, you know, if you're just drawing them for fun. I love it when people draw fan art of my characters. I really like seeing that. So now that all that, the intro stuff is out of the way, let's just start the video. We got a lot to cover.
Hey, Stinkoman.
You just called me Stinkoman?
Yes, so I did.
Okay, starting out, we have drum roll, please. Me. Well, wow, I wasn't expecting this. Okay, so me, Stinko is my self-insert persona guy. They're mostly based on my IRL appearance, except with a couple differences, because I desperately want to make them at least a little distinct from how I look in real life. Stinko's actually supposed to be 1 year older than me, because I like to use them as like a goal for myself, something to look forward to or something. They're like my ideal self. As for Stinko's basic character traits, they like to draw, just like me. They like going on walks, just like me. And they have a cat, just like me! Wow! Stinko's most defining trait is, of course, those little dangly hair things attached to their head. They're a holdover from an older Undertale self-insert I made, who was like a jackalope with dangly rabbit ears. Only they aren't ears anymore in Stinko's current design, just like fluffy hair things. You can kind of think of them like the tentacle hair things on the Inklings from Splatoon. That's what I like to compare them to. I'm not gonna lie, Stinko is in a bit of a weird position in terms of character, because I like having Stinko reflect me, but I also want Stinko to be more distinct as their own person compared to me. So I'll make a bunch of small changes that don't really stand out, but it helps make them feel like at least a little different. It doesn't really matter that much though. Stinko really only serves as my persona online. They don't typically need that much story, but it is still something I think about. If you're wondering where Stinko's name comes from, my username was actually originally Stinkoman, which is the name of a character from Homestar Runner. It was an old internet cartoon that I wasn't around for when it was most popular, but my mom watched it in college, and she showed it to me later on. I bet I just made all of you Homestar Runner fans feel really, really old just then. So yeah, my name was originally Stinkoman, but that was often taken online by Homestar fans, so I eventually switched it to Stinko Dude, and Stinko Dude spelled with 2 O's, and then just finally Stinko for short. I swear, it has nothing to do with my smell. Moving on to my next character, Pretzel is my first modern OC, and the one with the second most art, behind Stinko of course. She's a big, soft, cuddly bird girl who lives in a treehouse in the woods. Despite being one of the first original characters I designed once I went digital, I specifically made her to challenge myself artistically. For example, I struggled with larger body types, so I made her fat, although it really isn't reflected in her early art, since, like I said, I struggled with larger body types. I also made her a bird, since I had trouble with furry characters, but she was actually originally going to be an elephant at one point. I forget why. I switched it to bird because it was easier, cuter, and birds are my favorite animal. I already had practice drawing birds from my fan art of characters like Berdly and Martlet as well. I also tried making her kinda sexy, but not to the point of it being distracting. I just think it adds to her character. One last detail to mention is that Pretzel's also like unnaturally big, like 8 feet tall. Not really for any reason other than I think it's cool. her hugs would feel really big and soft. I really wanted to make a character that you'd want to hug when designing Pretzel. In the end, I think it's a really solid design, and I love how it turned out. As for her lore, it's pretty simple, and I kind of summarized it in the first sentence of this bit. If there's one thing I struggle with, it's giving my characters meaningful stories. Pretzel, though, lives a very slice-of-life sort of routine, living in her treehouse, far away from any civilization. She still has all her basic needs, like food, water, Wi-Fi, whatever, covered where she is. I wasn't really interested in a story about living without those sorts of amenities. Instead, she mostly struggles from loneliness, living so far away from all her friends and everyone else. She has a lot of small hobbies she's picked up because of this. Because she has to pass her time alone, she mainly likes composing music, because birds are good at that. I imagine her music would sound like C418 and other Minecraft music, but she also likes completing puzzles, going on walks, reading books, and baking foods. By the way, contrary to popular belief, her favorite food isn't actually pretzels, that's just her name. Other than dealing with loneliness, she doesn't really have that many traumas or tragic backstories or anything you would expect like that when seeing a person's original character. That's a trend present in a lot of my characters. I just don't like making my little guys sad. But because of that, they often lack depth. I've been working on improving on it. Sometimes you just gotta torture your guys. It's good for them. Trust me.
That does it! I'm gonna find out who did this and blast them into teeny tiny little pieces!
Byte is, at the time of recording this video, my most recently created OC, but I'm including her in this part of the video because she's not part of any established group or world. Because she's my newest, I got the least amount of established character traits and personality quirks, but I've been working on fleshing her out. You can very much tell where I was inspired for this design. I mostly took ideas from Tinkaton from Pokemon, Anton from Antonblast because I like little guys with gigantic hammers, as well as some from Minbit from YouTube, because I think she's cute, yet sometimes chaotic and intimidating at the same time. Byte's defining character trait is, of course, having that massive freaking hammer. She built it herself out of various scraps and pieces. It's named Megabyte, and it's got rocket engines attached to the back, so she can swing with extra force. She's what can only be described as a self-proclaimed demolitionist, who runs around like a madman, smashing things she doesn't like to pieces. Byte's biology is vague. She's just kind of a cartoon. I don't really know what she is, but I occasionally describe her as a cyborg when I don't know what to call her. I mean, she's kind of got like cat girl vibes. Would that be any better? I don't know. I just see people asking what she is sometimes. She's also got sleeves too big for her arms, which is a trait I originally gave to Stinko that they lost over time, so hopefully I can keep that with Byte longer. She's actually got little cat paws underneath those sleeves, but I've literally never drawn them ever. She's also got a TV for her head, which is a trend you're gonna notice I like including in characters a lot. It's because you can put little pictures on their face and it lets you be more expressive with them. Even if it is overdone these days, but this won't be the last character of mine you'll see with one.
Huh?
Hey,
What's that?
do you know where the nearest hot topic is? Zawarudo!
Quick interjection. Literally, while I was writing this script, I went ahead and made a new supporting character. Her name is Antibyte, and she's like Byte's evil clone, like Shadow the Hedgehog. Antibyte is super cool and edgy. She stays past her curfew and says swear words like darn. When Byte and Antibyte aren't having epic battles, they enjoy participating in recreational go-kart races together. I invented Antibyte specifically because one of my internet mutuals had a bunch of cool headcanons for Byte, but they were all way too edgy and out of character for her. But I still wanted to acknowledge them, since not as many other people really given as much attention and love to my characters as this one person. So to make up for it, I just made an entirely new character to slap all their headcanons onto. So yeah, thanks for the inspiration, internet person. You know who you are.
Oh, hi. So, how are you holding up? Because I'm a potato.
RAM, or RAM, is an evil AI robot constructed by the greatest mad scientists of Rocher Laboratories with the primary objective of complete and utter world domination. That being said, They're running on like 40-year-old hardware, and they've been procrastinating really hard for the past while on that whole world domination thing. Nowadays, they've been having issues connecting to the internet, and they're starting to run out of memory. But trust me, they were a force to be reckoned with back in the day. Despite sharing similar names and having similar appearances, they have no relation to Byte. Like I said, TV head is just a trope I like, but I swear, this is the last one, okay? No more. They're based on all kinds of evil AI characters from across pop culture, like AM, HAL 9000, GLaDOS, Kane, that one guy from WALL-E I forgot the name of. But the idea of making them pitifully weak, but still evil in particular, came from GLaDOS in Portal 2 specifically. And although I won't spoil the game, you will recognize parts of that in the next character I cover as well. Ram is actually the character with the most story and world building surrounding them so far, with backstory, locations, plot, and supporting characters. But I'm not going to spoil much of that either just yet. I plan on using this story idea in a webcomic or something at some point in the future, but the story's like very vague, unfinished, and subject to change right now. Personality-wise, Ram is meant to act kind of snarky and sarcastic. A lot of the times they're full of themselves and act a lot more arrogantly than they should really be getting away with. This is meant to be a reflection of their creator, who I have not yet designed, so you won't be seeing him in this video. Maybe a later one. It's been hard writing Ram so far though, because I instinctively don't want to portray an AI character displaying any kind of human emotion or characteristics, which is stupid because, like, it's a story. They don't have to be realistic like that, but for some reason I am just incapable of suspending my own disbelief on my own story. Maybe it's because of my views of modern generative AI that I'm not able to set aside for whatever reasons. Honestly, valid reasons, yeah. Anyway, I want to shout out this old concept art from when I was first designing him. I wanted him to feel old-fashioned, so I had like this weird humanoid with a mustache design. I wonder how different they would be if I stuck with that one. It kind of reminds me of Grumbot from Hermitcraft, but I don't even remember if I was thinking about that when designing him. Oh, also, the initials in Ram's name stands for something, but they forgot. So I don't have to come up with an acronym. Yeah.
Science!
That's pretty good. Keep going.
Science again! I said science again!
Janet, Ram's human companion, is a lot less interesting compared to Ram. She's an intern working at Roche Laboratories. I mostly created her so that Ram had another character to interact with. She's a hard-working individual who wishes she had more to do. Because Ram is often portrayed as a procrastinator who's slow, stuttering, and loading for far too long, I wanted to contrast that by making Janet stubborn, overconfident, and high energy. She sometimes pushes herself too hard with her research, pulling all-nighters and sacrificing her own self for her work. She's also like the only person working at Roche Laboratories who doesn't realize the company is evil. Over the course of the story, she partners up with Ram, who desperately needs a human companion in order to get anything evil done, due to their, lack of opposable thumbs. She mistakenly puts her trust in them, and over the course of the story, she might start convincing them to be less evil, with both of them improving and learning from each other's flaws. I think it's a cool character dynamic. Like Ram, I also want to highlight her older design shown here. It's actually even more boring than before. I know she already looks pretty normal, but look how even more bland she used to be. I have no clue why I thought this was a finalized design at all. She didn't even have a lab coat back then. That's like the most science-y clothing you could give to a person so you know they're a scientist.
Shadow Wizard Buddy Gang. We love casting spells.
I figured I'd cover all these guys at the same time since they go together and work as a group. This is the Street Wizard Gang. No, I don't have any ideas for better names. Please help me. I need a better name to refer to them as a collective. How do gangs even come up with names? What do they do? Anyways, these guys are a group of magical teenagers living in the urban fantasy land of New Camelot. They enjoy sneaking out to abandoned alleys and practicing messed up, unethical spells and hexes. I originally came up with the ideas as like a Harry Potter AU, where instead of a bunch of rich British kids, they were a bunch of punk American kids. But I decided I'd rather do something more original with that concept, because truth be told, don't tell my mom, I don't even like Harry Potter that much. But they also take inspiration from wizard posting, which is an internet meme where people pretend they're wizards. So going down the list, we have Demos, the goth one, Petra, the jock one, Daniel, the shady one, and Grug, the green one. But before we move on, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, hype the video, whatever that is. This video is taking me a while to make, but if you enjoyed it, letting me know means I'm more likely to make more of these in the future. Alright, that's enough of me begging for internet points. Back to the video.
I would cast Repel Maidens upon thee, but I see another wizard has beat me to it!
Once when she was little, Demos wrote a letter to Santa, only she accidentally misspelled it and addressed the letter to Satan instead. Well, it turns out Satan actually delivers really cool presents, so ever since then, Demos has developed an interest in dark magic and the occult, attempting to summon him in order to thank him personally for the cool present. This has been her life goal ever since. Her parents are the kind to be concerned with her obsession of demon summoning, of course. They tell her it could be dangerous, to which she always answers, "Gosh, it's not a phase, Mom!" After which she locks herself in her room with her Ouija board. Once you see the others, you're gonna very much notice that Demos has the most goofy and lighthearted backstory from a tonal perspective compared to the others. Once I'm done writing all these guys, I'd like the standard of tone to be somewhere similar to this. I started off wanting their stories to be a bit more serious, but I felt like giving characters this age access to magical abilities like this, there's way too many opportunities for shenanigans. So I'm going for a more mixture between serious character writing and goofy joke lore. I know it can be done. As you can see, Demos' staff is made of an old metal pipe. Anyways, I don't actually know if those horns are natural. I go back and forth on whether or not they are now and then. I might just leave that up to audience interpretation, so I don't have to figure it out. Her designs changed the least over time. I pretty much nailed it the first time. She's also named after one of Mars's moons. I struggle with naming characters, so I'm super proud of that one.
Hello, is anybody home?
Who goes there?
It is me, the chosen one.
Fireball!
Petra is the youngest member of the group. She hangs out with the others because she thinks they're cool. And they are. She's the most inexperienced with her spells, but she's improving as the others teach her. Her design is the one I first came up with, and it stayed relatively the same over time. She's definitely the silliest person around most of the time. Her baseball bat is unique because she uses it for casting spells, and if she runs out of mana, she can use it to hit people in the shins instead. Its name is Bat Bat. Unlike the other members of the group, Petra has wealthy parents. Definitely not rich, but upper class. You can probably guess where this is going. Her parents are super controlling and don't want her hanging out with such delinquents, and would prefer if she stays home and plays piano or something. But Petra sneaks out to hang with the others anyways and all that. It's a trope you see a lot, and truth be told, I'm still figuring out a way to make it interesting. The other members of the gang don't know about this, and she tends to keep it a secret. That way it's less likely her parents find out she's sneaking out, and her friends don't get jealous of her.
Hey, Mac.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
You wanna buy us
Magical elixir! Daniel's up next. He's really smart and resourceful. He uses those skills to brew a variety of potions and brews with silly-sounding names. He's had to resort to this because his family's fallen on hard times and he needs the money. Or at least that's what it'll tell you. Some of that might be his fault too. Regardless, it's difficult to afford a quality cauldron these days, so he does all of his potion making inside of a giant garbage can. Great. Also, Daniel used to smoke, but his friends have been helping him quit. He does still occasionally fall back on old habits though, don't we all? I don't. Daniel's designs went through some iteration over time. Very early on, I had the idea of having a skateboard permanently fused to his foot from an accidental spell mishap. But that was really hard to draw, and nowadays skateboards aren't even a thing in the modern lore. Instead, people use skate brooms. He's definitely gotten a lot cooler looking over time. I even recently made his glasses triangular. I thought it looked awesome. Cause it is awesome. Yeah!
Call this getting mugged. Rhymes with grug.
I can't feel my anything.
Last up, we got Grug. He's a big green orc, like from D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. He may look big and tough, but he's actually a big softy underneath. His tattoos are magic and enchanted, and can move around like the Hogwarts paintings. Some of them he even did himself. I tend to represent this artistically by making him different each time I draw him. Because of that, he's always been my least favorite to draw. His body type is hard, and all the small details are always difficult to remember. Anyways, Grug lives on his own with his mom. Unfortunately, his dad passed away when fighting in the Skeleton War. Ahem. Rest in peace. I was originally thinking of making his mom become like an abusive parent, taking out her anger on her son after losing her husband, but writing about that made me sad. So he's been upgraded from 0 loving parents to 1 loving parent. Yay! I don't have much else written other than that. He's got the least finished lore out of everyone. Grug's visual design has evolved a lot over time the most. He actually started out as a human, but I changed him to be an orc. At one time I wanted that to be like a metaphor for some sort of racial or systemic issue or other, but I don't really feel like the kind of guy who'd be able to cover that respectfully. He's still an orc though, because it adds visual interest to the group. Who wouldn't like being big and green? It's like Shrek. So that's everyone, or at least the main guys I draw often. I have a couple older OCs who I've abandoned for losing interest in the character, and I also have a couple other ones I keep around for a joke or two every now and then, but otherwise I don't draw them often. So how about before we end the video, we speedrun through all those guys really quickly. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, go! The Deltarune guys. I already made a video about my Deltarune OCs. Go watch that one when you're done. Jackie the Jackalope. Jackie was an Undertale self-insert I made to ship with the characters I found hot. They died and got replaced with Stinko. Liberty. Liberty is the United States of America personified. I don't draw her anymore because parodying the US simply cannot compare to anything they've actually done nowadays. Throckmorton. Throcky was a character I played for a project of my dad's. I tried bringing back the character, with my dad's permission, by making him into a ghost. I gave up on them because I didn't know what to do with them. Dr. Roche. This guy's an evil scientist who built RAM. I really want to make him a mainstay character, but I've never actually made a design for them I like. Not to Scale. Not to Scale was a Rainworld OC I made who decided to outsource the great problem to the local scavenger population because they didn't want to do it themselves. This did not go well. Skaggy. Skaggy is Not to Scale's favorite scavenger. They went crazy trying to solve the great problem. Marina. Marina is based on that one meme claiming Vaporeon is the statistically sexiest Pokemon. She got banished to the joke character realm. Top Satterfield. I made this guy because I wanted a really simplistic character to design when I'm lazy. I never draw them because they're boring and uninteresting. Several birds. Look at these birds I drew. One time I turned Stinko into a bug. Okay, done. Oh, that's everyone. I hope you enjoyed the glimpse into my mind and the little people living inside it. Comment below which character showcased here was your favorite. If you want to see more of these guys, you can follow me on Tumblr. I also have a toy house, but I'm still working on that one. I don't exactly know when it's going to happen, but I do have a couple ideas for like a third video. But making these takes a lot of time and effort, so no promise on when that exactly happens or what it's going to be about. But anyways, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Bye!